Okay. Hopefully, I don't know. My computer's been acting up, so hopefully things will go well. All right. Um. All right. Hopefully things will go well. Hopefully things will go well. I'm going to be reacting to some videos before. It's like a countdown to. I'm going to be watching the fight on my Discord. Right. Link is in the description. If you want to join the Discord. Uh. So I'm just making some videos to react to right before I check out the fight tonight on the Discord, right? So hopefully, I've never done it before. I've never done this before, so hopefully, it will go right on Discord, right? Hopefully, I don't know. Who knows if it will? I'm hoping it will. That's it. But before I do, we are going to be reacting to some videos. So hopefully, it goes well. Ugh. Fingers crossed.
This video is any serious person who disputes that. And while you can't say that men or women are better overall, you can say that when it comes to specific categories on average, like upper body strength, pain tolerance, or color perception. Because of those inherent differences, men and women have taken on different roles in our society. These societal gender roles have made men and women culturally different as well. Much like the biological and psychological differences, you can't say that men or women are culturally better overall. But again, you can say it when it comes to specific categories. Over the last century, women have been trying to break out of those traditional gender roles with a good deal of success. They aren't quite there yet, but I already made a video about that. Instead, this video is about men who've been watching women successfully getting out of their roles and saying, hey, we want to get out of our traditional gender roles too. These men are typically known as men's rights activists, or MRAs. They're part of the broader manosphere, and they've become pretty popular in recent decades for reasons we'll get to later. A few years ago, they released a documentary called The Red Pill, named after the red pill in the Matrix, which makes you wake up and see the horrible reality of the world, as opposed to the blue pill, which is feminism in this case. If you go to the doctor and you ask for the blue pill,
It's not. It's the blue pill isn't feminism in this case, right? That this is again, this is an attack and a misconception. No, the blue pill is the delusion, right? The blue pill is laughing man. What is up? What is up, my brother? The blue pill is you being deluded, right? It's exactly like the movie where you can be in a world where I don't know, deluded to the harsh reality. Okay, you are in your own fantasy in a way. Okay, that's the blue pill.
you're gonna get something very different. In the movie, they say that one of the defining characteristics of men's role in society is the concept of male disposability.
Every society that survived based on its ability to train its sons to be disposable. Disposable in war as warriors, disposable in work as firefighters, as workers on oil rigs and so on, coal miners.
Male disposability is the idea that men are seen as less valuable and therefore disposable for the betterment or preservation of society, which is why men account for most deaths in the workplace. The film makes it a point to mention how many people died on the job and what percentage of those deaths were men. In 2017, it actually increased to 5,147 workplace fatalities, 92.5% of which were men. Just to put that
What is up? What is up? The blue pill is egalitarianism.
into perspective, that's more casualties than the entire Iraq War, all 7 years put together every year. So this is a genuine problem worth talking about. The most dangerous profession when it comes to how many deaths there are per worker is fishermen. If you've ever watched The Deadliest Catch, you'd know that. But the most dangerous profession when it comes to absolute numbers is truck driver, with almost 1,000 deaths in 2017, more than the next 10 professions combined. Why aren't these the jobs we talk about when discussing male disposability? The red pill mentioned coal miners, oil drillers, and firefighters. Even the watch
Whataboutism. I mean, like, why don't you talk about these? It's like, does it matter? Does it matter which? It's I just find because before, I mean, before I didn't show it, right? He's talking about whataboutism, right? Why do people do the whataboutism? Why? What about this? What about that? When they're talking about certain things, it's like it's literally we're talking about male disposability. Okay, so they're using the understandable. People don't really think truck drivers like it's a dangerous job. People don't really think that. So you use something that it's understandable, it's relatable in a way that people, yeah, if you say firefighters, you would think that that is a dangerous job. When you say police officers or soldiers, you would think that is a dangerous job. I find it literally He points out he clearly shows his hypocrisy right in his own video. Right? He's saying people do whataboutisms.
Commercial responding to Gillette uses firefighters when quoting the same statistic. Only 35 firefighters died on the job in 2017. Don't get me wrong, I wish it was 0, but these aren't the guys dying by the hundreds. These are. Why aren't truck drivers the face of male disposability? Because they aren't heroic. Even when discussing the plight of men dying in the workforce, we want to be seen as hyper-masculine.
I don't think it's that. No, it's not about being. Is there probably a bit of imaging? You probably want good. Well, what was it? I don't know. A good image, I guess. I forgot the word. Damn it! What's the word? I guess good marketing, but it's understandable. It's being understandable, right? People would assume, right, that being a firefighter is a dangerous job. People don't assume being a truck driver is a dangerous job. That is it. It's understandable that, okay, you know what, this profession is dangerous. So we understand that. So we can understand that, you know what, which this profession makes up. Men makes up the majority of this profession. We understand that it's dangerous.
And heroic. There is nothing heroic about this. Truck drivers are seen as some of the lowest people in society because, well, you know those Gatorade bottles you've seen thrown out on the side of the highway? Yeah, those aren't filled with Gatorade. Disgusting! So instead they go with firefighter, which I find interesting because that profession in particular is one that women have been trying to get into for decades, but have been kept out for reasons. Probably because we all imagine women as these little 90-pound frail objects. But if Zarya wants to be a firefighter, I say let her. But we're
Here's the thing where it's like, this is why women don't make up the majority of, let's say, police officers, or in modern day, women don't make up the majority of police officers, or the military or whatever, because it is a physical job. Right? There is a bit of mental to it, but the majority of it is physical. It's like, I want to say that, yes, was there a time people kept them out purely because of gender? Purely because, oh, it's a woman? Yeah. But let's be honest, right? There is a also logical reason why women don't just fall into these jobs or qualify easily to these jobs. Hell, most men don't even qualify easily to these jobs, okay? So if it's a very taxing job, it's a very physical job, when most men don't qualify for it, do you think most women would? It's like, what the fuck are you talking? It's like, this mindset is really ridiculous.
Everyone's dying, and we die for you guys.
You don't get to say that we're the ones dying and we're doing it for you in jobs you want, but you can't have because they're ours. Women want those dangerous jobs, and as long
out of the New York City's 10,000 firefighters, only were female in 20s. But that's that. Let me see. Because that doesn't prove that women want these jobs. I'm checking. Man, maybe I'm wrong. I think it's funny, right? So out like this, right? Gotta check the statistics. Gotta check his data. Out of the New York City's 10,000 firefighters, only 58 were female in 2025, a total of 0.5%. That same year, in that same no. Okay, so they didn't say the exact year, but let's say this: in 2012, about 2,000 women applied, right? Which was the exam list used for hiring out of okay, 2,000 women applied out of four 42,000 people, right? 42,000 people. So 40,000 men, 40,000 men applied. 40,000 men, 2,000 women applied. So the disparity is understandable, right? It's like, see, this is why shit like this is disingenuous, right? Shit like this is disingenuous. Where, like I said, 2,000 women applied. Where's his stats on women wanted to be firefighters? All right? 2,000 women compared to 40,000 men applied to that job. So could you be surprised that women only made 0.5%? Like literally, what is it? If it says 2,000 women applied, right? It's like, and then 10,000 firefighters. That means about 30,000, around 30,000 men didn't make it. 30,000 men. So this is why I find this shit is kind of disingenuous, right? Because they wanted, like, they complain about how men or red pillars use stats that really don't fit the narrative or stuff, but you see this? This is the whataboutism, right? You see what they do too, right? Just this is what I'm seeing. Again, I could have been wrong. I double check. I had to check the stats on it. Right? You make it seem like women really wanted to be firefighters. Really? Did they? And again, like I said, it disqualified 30,000 men. 30,000 men. So even 30,000 men couldn't make it. So if it's that hard, if it was that hard, are you surprised that, what is it? Let's say it's about 2,000 women, 58 women, about let's do it about 1,900 women didn't make it. It's a drastic difference. Alan, what is up? His videos on the left are just as critical as he is for the right. I promise that. I don't know his viewpoints. I'm just judging him purely on this video, right? I've never seen this guy's videos before. Also, the video is from a while ago, so all the stats aren't. I'm checking on that time, right? What I just said was 2012, right?
As long as they're kept out of them, we as men don't get to complain that we're stuck with them. Take the military, for example. Women have always been in the US military in a support role, nurses, administration, that sort of stuff. But they've been begging to be in combat for decades. The Secretary of Defense
I swear to God, this is another foolishness, right? Begging. Women have been begging for decades to be part of the military. Have they? This is that you can't say a select few women want to be in the military, then you say women have. No, majority of women don't want to be in the military. Majority of women don't want to be in the military. You can't say, it's like, this is why it's disingenuous. Majority of women don't be in it's free, right? For the last couple of decades, we've had almost complete autonomy. Women don't choose to be in this profession. No one is stopping women, okay? And women still don't choose it.
finally opened up combat roles to women in 2013, and they started filling them in 2016, much to the chagrin of male politicians. So whenever you're shown these statistics, keep in mind that women weren't allowed in combat during any of these conflicts, despite wanting to be. Whenever we talk about the military in the scope—
First of all, a select few people want to be in the military. Let's be honest. I find, this is why I find men like this disingenuous. There is a reason. It's not completely, it's not, I mean, I'm not saying that there wasn't a time that it was sexist. Of course there was a time, but it's understandable. Let's be honest. In war, a man versus a woman, life on the line, come on. And even the best, even the most optimal situation, a man, there's no guarantee that he will make it out. So it's like, it's just ridiculous.
of men's rights, we inevitably end up talking about the draft, officially known as the Selective Service System. Every male in the United States is required to register for selective service between the ages of 18 and 25. Failing to do so is a federal crime that will haunt you forever. Luckily, you may have done so without remembering. I filled out a card at the post office. I remember it being a big deal, but you might have done it by just checking a box on your FAFSA, the form you fill out when requesting financial aid for college. Or if you have a driver's license in any of the yellow states, you were automatically registered. The draft is somewhat of a non-argument for several reasons. The most obvious is that it really hasn't affected you. You had to fill out a form or check a box once. We haven't used the draft since 1973. We've been an all-volunteer force since then, meaning it hasn't affected anyone born after 1950.
I find this argument really stupid. I've said this too. I've argued this argument. I'm not saying that the draft is my reasoning for anything, right? But again, this kind of argument is stupid. It is a thing, right? It is a thing. Saying that, you know what, it's not gonna, it hasn't happened, so it's a mute argument is stupid, right? It's just like I've done this argument, right, where so many people, right, particularly women, they negate so much about providing, right? Providing, protecting. Women love to talk about protecting. I mean, providing. They don't really understand the significance of protecting. Okay? When you protect, there's a potentiality that is your last time you ever protect. Your life is on the line. We don't have multiple lives, right? We don't have multiple lives. So for the draft shit, you just need one time. You just need it to be happen one time. Okay? Just like let's say like Ukraine. I'm quite sure, right, for years that none of the men in that nation thought, oh, they will be drafted. For years, they probably didn't think about that. They just needed that one time that they were. That is it. So just like protection, it's so important because you just need that one time, and that's it. Because you could lose your life at that one occasion, right, of protecting. So this right here, this draft, it's important, but I'm not saying that that's my reasoning for, you know, when I'm like when I debate like voting, right? Why some people shouldn't vote, or some people, which includes women, shouldn't vote. I'm not using the draft as my reasoning, okay? Because I agree with the ideology of the draft, but I do understand that it's not a implement. It's not a direct cause, or it's not like a pressing concern right now. I understand that argument, but again, people who want to belittle it is stupid, because it just needs to happen one time and it will fuck up your life.
If you're not collecting Social Security, the draft isn't something you've ever had to worry about. And the draft is so historically unpopular that it would take something like Red Dawn happening for us to ever use it again. And I have a feeling that if that were to happen, we'd suddenly be okay with the draft. But you know, it still might. Someday. Men feel that this is unfair, since they have to sign up for the draft and women don't. But actually, that's about to change. One of the main arguments against women being part of the draft was that they weren't allowed in combat. Since that changed in 2016, Congress set up a commission to reevaluate the selective service system, whether that means including women or abolishing it entirely. There was also a recent court case that ruled an all-male draft was unconstitutional on the basis of that 2016 combat role change. But since Congress already set up a commission, that decision didn't really carry much weight. But there are a number of other ways that men are disadvantaged that men's rights activists often cite, some more legitimate than others.
Men are dropping out of higher education at very alarming rates. We're down to 38% now of college students are men, and it's dropping rapidly.
It was actually 43.3% in 2017 and isn't dropping rapidly. In fact, it's been increasing since 2005 and is projected to stay the same for the next 10 years. Women first...
Let's see. I'm just gonna check.
became the majority of college students in 1979. But he is right that there's a difference in college graduation rates. Among women who start a bachelor's degree program, 62.1% of them actually finish, while only 56.1% of men do. It's not that big of a difference, but still a difference. You'll also hear that boys drop out of high school 30 or 40% more than girls, which is true, but that's relative to girls. In 2016, the nationwide high school dropout rate was 7.1% for boys and 5.1% for girls, which is actually near historic lows. In 1979, it was 15% and 14.2%, so trending down. But a 2% difference doesn't really sound much like a crisis, so 7 is 140% of 5, which gives us a 40% relative difference. You see this relative risk trick all over the place. There is a small difference, but I'm not sure I would say something as dramatic as boys are languishing academically while girls are prospering.
Boys are languishing academically while girls are prospering.
While men are slightly behind in the education system, they're well ahead when it comes to the prison system.
Men are sentenced to 63% more prison time for the same crime as women.
That's actually true and pretty much indisputable. Of all men in America, 1 in 9 have, are, or will eventually.
You know, one thing I'm not crazy about, right? It's the victim and lippings, right? I don't really want to do the thing where, okay, you know what? If women are suffering, men are suffering too. I'm not necessarily trying to do that. Okay. But for me is that what I always look at, okay, when it comes to the men's right thing and all this stuff, which I am a supporter of it, I support it, is that I realize that the world is unfair, right? The world is unfair. I always think that like men aren't the villains. Men aren't the villains in life. I always believe that men are the underdogs, right? Men aren't like women always like to say that the patriarchy, right? The society is built for men. It's not, right? Now it's built for the top tier men. I'm not saying that that's true, but in general, society is not built for men. Right? Society is built to use men, um, and I think society is built to safeguard women. Right? So I don't know. Sometimes I think these things are concerned because we got to think about this. Okay, the small percentage of certain things happening, it can always grow. Right, over time, it could grow. Right. So that's why it's always a trend that we should watch out for, understand.
Spend time in prison. Among women, it's only 1 in 56. This might lead you to believe that men commit crimes more often than women, which is statistically true. But even when a woman is convicted, her punishment is far more lenient. They are twice as likely to receive no jail time, and if they do, say they're sentenced to 10 years, a man convicted of the same crime will get 16 years. And if he's a black man, he'll get 20. Criminal justice reform, and especially prison reform, is something I've been pushing for a long time, and I've never really considered it a male issue. It's usually a race issue, but I can see why they include it on the list. Other indisputable.
You usually said that. Okay. I think it's I guess it's a multi-layer issue, right? Because you can't just say it's a race issue when you just literally point out that men received more than women. And then when you're a black man, you'll probably receive more than, I don't know how black women fare into it, right? I don't know if black women are within the whole women statistics part.
Facts that MRAs often cite when discussing the difference between men and women have to do with healthcare outcomes. On average, women live 7 years longer than men. We spend more on female healthcare, mostly because they just happen to go to the doctor more often. Women have more regular healthcare needs. Breast cancer and prostate cancer kill people at similar rates, but breast cancer gets a lot more funding, which mostly just comes down to marketing. If prostate cancer had something similar to a pink ribbon or a yellow wristband, I'm sure that could change. Prostate cancer actually has a ribbon, but you probably didn't know that. Men aren't encouraged to go to the doctor regularly like women. Even when they're sick or injured, they're told to just suck it up or rub some dirt on it, which leads to worsening physical and mental health problems.
4 of 5 suicides are men.
That was true when he said it, but it's actually closer to 3 out of 4 now, because female suicide has been increasing. Strangely enough, women attempt suicide more often than men. For every 3 men that commit suicide, 5 women attempt, and only 1 succeeds. Men successfully commit suicide more often than women because men choose more violent methods, like jumping off of things or guns. Firearms account for just over half of all suicides. Women tend to choose less violent methods, like drug overdoses or cutting, which have a very low probability of success. This is a valid issue, because as I said, men are far less likely to seek help. We live in a society that looks down on men who ask for help, so maintaining that pride leads men to things like suicide, drug and alcohol addiction, and homelessness.
Is a man.
See, that's the thing where I don't think it's pride. You see, that's my problem with that, right? That's the problem with. I mean, like some of his points I agree with, right? But that's my problem. We always think that men are prideful. No, men are realistic. Men, I see it like recently, right? The whole Men's Mental Health Month. I see plenty of videos of women saying, I don't give a shit about men's mental health. So society don't care about men. You think men will care about men? Like, that's the thing where men know that you don't give a shit. So what's the point? What's the point of talking about it? TBD, what is up, my brother? How you doing? I wonder if they do it in a less lethal ways because they want to be found and helped. I mean, I think that they're just not as extreme, maybe. I don't know.
Broken. I like this one because they're putting their thumb on the scale a bit. Single homeless. So if you're married and homeless or have a child and homeless, you don't count. In truth, men are 60.2% of all homeless people. In homeless shelters, 55.4% are men, which is actually pretty even. But when it comes to actually living out on the street, 70.3% are men. Again, men don't like asking for help. And now that I've mentioned shelters, I'm gonna have to talk about domestic violence.
As of
I think it's kind of ridiculous that you think men. I mean, I'm not saying that that's not 100% true, but I think that it's a mindset, right? Are there cases of men don't want to ask? Probably, yeah. But there are a lot of cases that men just don't think that they would ever get help. We build a society that, like I said, men feel disposable. So what's the point of asking for help when you believe society don't give a shit about you? Guys, join the Discord, right? I'm going to hopefully, right, be streaming the fight tonight. Hopefully. We'll see how it works. I don't know. I've never done it before, so we'll see.
2016, there's only a single domestic violence shelter for men. My initial reaction was that there needed to be thousands more women's shelters because that many more women are being battered. But as it turns out, 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men will be victims of physical violence by an intimate partner.
If your alarm bells and red flags aren't going off, they should be. That statistic is true. However, the definition of physical violence in that survey includes literally any form of physical violence, from pushing to slapping to throwing something at you. From the infographic attached to that same source, women are far more likely to be afraid, far more likely to be concerned for their safety, and far more likely to develop PTSD. Why is that if just as many men are victims? Because when we look at physical violence that actually results in injury, it's 1 in 7 women and 1 in 25 men. This is from her 2010 source, link down below. For every man that needed to go to a hospital as a result of domestic violence, 5 women did. For every man that needed housing services in order to get away from domestic violence, 6 women did. The Red Pill tries to portray this as some both sides in equal numbers issue, but it just isn't. Domestic.
What the fuck are you talking about? What the hell are you talking about? I don't see that they, it's like, no one says that it's an equal issue. No one sees it as an equal issue. What the fuck are you? And you wonder why men don't ask for help, right? Men are not saying that, you know what, they are just as abused as women. No, men aren't doing that shit. Men are saying that, you know what, men do get abused. We have a society that has a notion that men don't get abused at all, right? We have a society, 100%. We have a society that believes men don't get abused at all. That is society. So men are not saying that, oh, we're just as abused as women. No. I've never fucking saw any person who claims to be Red Pill say that, oh, you know what? Men are being abused just as much as women. They're not, right? They're not. But the problem is to bring awareness to the men that do, right, get abused in a relationship shouldn't be the worst thing ever, right? It shouldn't be the worst thing ever to say that, you know what? Men do get abused.
Violence shelters were set up in the 60s and 70s when many women didn't have access to a job or money. They had no resources and nowhere to go if they were in danger. Men, on the other hand, could go to a hotel or a friend's house or even a bar if they needed to get away.
No, say. This is the problem with you, right? So Alan said, DA, you've actually told me that men are more abused than women like 10 times. See, you missed. This is why I say you're dishonest and disingenuous. I've said this a lot of times, and I've said this to you, right? There have been some studies, right? Some studies where one-way domestic violence, right, is committed by women against men, okay? I've never said men are more abused than women. Never. Please, I have thousands of videos, right? Plenty of times I've debated Alan. Please clip it, right? Clip it. I love you to clip it. I've just shown you that, you know what? Shit happens to men. Plain and simple, right? It happens to men. That's my argument. To show you that, you know what? Women can be just as violent, just as abusive as men. That is my point. I've never said women are more, men are more abused than women. Never. I show you that there's certain studies that, you know what, can show you that, you know what, women are not as angelic as society makes women out to be. That is my point. Not like to try to play, this whole like, you know what, men are worse off than women. Fuck that. I don't do that shit. I do it where, you got to understand. We don't have a world where, you know what, being a man is automatically bad. Being a woman is automatically good. That is the problem we have. Okay. I said that there is true that there are certain studies. There are some studies out there that show you that one-way domestic violence, right? Domestic abuse is committed by women against men. Okay. That doesn't mean that men are more abused than women, right? It just shows you that, you know what? There are cases where men are being abused. Plain and simple. We have a society that don't believe that. What? A man being abused? That's crazy.
The healthiest of options.
Steve, what is up, my brother? What is up?
But still options. But now there are domestic violence shelters all over the country which provide a place for women and men to go. That's right, I said men. The domestic violence shelter that she says is the only one for men is not the only one for men. It's just the only one that serves only men. According to her source, nearly 500,000 male victims used housing services as a result of intimate partner violence. Where did they all go? Some domestic violence shelters are for women only, but almost every domestic violence shelter will help male victims either by housing them directly or by putting them up in a hotel free of charge. There absolutely should be more domestic violence shelters for men, but framing it as if there's only one is a lie.
The red pill is about understanding men and women, like everything else in life. It's a mixed bag. You've got victims and perpetrators on both sides of the fence.
That's true, but it's not even close to being 50-50. While we're on the subject of men being the victims of violence,
This is the thing where I've never, clip it, please clip it. No one is saying that it should be 50. No one's saying that it's 50-50. I find this is why I find people like this, just really ridiculous. No one is out here saying that it's 50-50. No one is saying that men have it men are just so abused, no, men aren't saying that. Men are saying that, okay, shit happens to men. That's it, right? Men are not out here crying that, oh my God, the life is unfair. No, I think, here's my thing, right? It's like a lot of cases that, you know what, we all know that life is hard. Life is hard, plain and simple. Life is unfair. We all fucking know that. We all know life is unfair. The issue is that we always make out that, you know, it's because of men, right? It's always because of men. When you see that men suffer as well, right? Men suffer as well. To think that, you know what, you suffer because of men, life is unfair. People suffer. It doesn't matter if you're a man. It doesn't matter if you're a woman. Life is not an easy thing. Plain and simple. It's like, we're not trying to say that, oh, you know what, we are suffering more than women. No, it's not that. That's not the point, right? That's not the point of when men talk about men's issue. It's not about we suffer more than women. It's not. It's just that we do suffer. So if we say that we do suffer, it's that we're not the perpetrator of everything. We're not the predators of everything. We're not the oppressors of everything, right? That's the point.
Men can also be the victims of rape. In fact, men can be raped by women, and we should call it rape when it happens, not an affair. MRAs and the Red Pill again try to portray this as both sides are victims in equal numbers issue.
Who the hell? When do you clip it? Show a clip right now. He needs to show a clip. He needs to show a clip of, I don't know, MRAs or Red Pillar saying that, you know what, it's an equal issue. Please show a fucking clip. It's like this is why I do reaction videos, right? This is why I do reaction videos, because I hate shit like this, right? We have so much media, so much material. Clip that shit then. What you say, if you're saying something, show me. Show me an example. That's it, right? Even if it's one example, at least I say that, okay, you know what? I can understand why he thinks like that because of that example, right? I could understand that. But if you show nothing and say a whole lot of shit, where's your basis for your argument? How did you come to this argument, right? Just like what Alan did, right? He's saying that I said this all the time. Show it. I do so much videos. You have so much material to clip from, right? Show if I said something. Plain and simple, right? And if I did, I would say, you know what? You're right. I was wrong there. I was wrong. I didn't mean that, right? I was wrong. Plenty. This is why I do reaction videos, because you know what? Shit I say, I have video proof, right? I have video proof for the shit I say. Plenty, right? If I want to show you that a woman being abusive to a man, I have a clip for that. I have a video for that. If I want to show you that women cheat on men, I have a clip for that, right? If I want a video of a woman saying that men ain't shit, or, you know, I don't give a shit about men's mental health, I have a clip for that, right? I have a video for that. Coming out of people's mouths, people's actions. I have a clip for all the shit I say, okay? So you can understand, you know what? I can understand why he said that, right? I can understand, you know what? Why he's thinking the way he's thinking because of shit like that. How can I understand why he thinks like this when he shows fucking nothing? Maybe he's going to show it, maybe. But you can't say it, and then where's the basis for it, right? You're saying Red Pillar say this, MRA say this. Okay, show me.
When it isn't, not even close. From the same source where she got her 1 in 4 men physical violence statistic, 1 in 5 women will be raped in their lifetime, while 1 in 71 men will. For every male victim, there are 14 female victims. That's an order of magnitude difference, and accounts for female on male and male on male sexual violence. But really, when men are concerned about rape, their biggest concern is being falsely accused. Many in the manosphere believe that 40 or 50% of all rape allegations are false and that women are lying. And they get that number from one discredited study. When a woman reports a rape, sometimes there isn't enough information or evidence to prosecute, sometimes she changes her mind about pressing charges, and sometimes the guy is found not guilty.
Okay, let's check it out, right? Let's read it. Let's see his statistics, right? Let's see what his statistics is, right? So he said, the statement 1 in 5 women will be R-worded in their lifetime is not universally accepted statistics, but it comes from a well-known US survey. The most commonly cited source is the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, National Intimate Partner and Sexual Violence Survey, which found that approximately 19 to 20% of U.S. women reported having experienced, completed, or attempted R-word during their lifetime. However, estimates vary depending on how the R-word is defined, whether attempted R-word is included, survey methodology, the country and time period being studied. Some surveys produce lower estimates while others produce similar or somewhat higher estimates. A few important points, right? The statistics refers to a lifetime risk, not an annual risk. Okay. Most sexual assaults are committed by someone the victim knows rather than by a stranger. Men are also, okay. So saying that about 1 in 5 women in the U.S. will have experienced, completed, or attempted R-word during their lifetime is broadly consistent with findings from major CDC surveys. But it should be understood that as a survey estimate rather than an actual count of every population. Now, again, like I said, right? It's a survey, right? We take things with a grain of salt, okay? Because I think one of the big things is how the R-word is defined. Right? If you know that when people include what the R word, like some cases of R word, is that a woman who agreed to have sex, and then later recounted, right? Said she doesn't want it anymore. Yeah, no, I literally said the source too, right? It's the CDC. Again, right? I just read it out, right? It is a source. I'm not saying that I didn't say his what he said was wrong, right? I'm saying that we take things with a grain of salt, right? Because there is true, right? It is true. I said this where there's been a college survey where women would say assault or harassment, right, would include a man touching you on your shoulder, a man unwanted hugs, right? This is why women in colleges say, oh, you know what? College women experience assault at a high rate. Yeah, well, when you include that someone laying their hand on your shoulder is assault, no duh, it's a high rate. Or when you include unwanted hugs, no duh, it's an assault or harassment. No duh, it's a high thing, okay? So again, there's ways for you to, if a woman is drunk, right? If both parties are drunk, it is also included as an R-worded incident, right? That's also included. So I see that I'm only saying that you take things with a grain of salt, right? You understand that, yeah, I'm not saying that shit doesn't happen to women. Of course it does. But we have to understand that, one, it can be misconstrued. And when it comes to words, we do have a very fluid definition of it, right? We do have a very fluid definition of it. So it's understandable. So I'm just saying that, like, I'm not saying that bad shit doesn't happen to women. Of course they do.
All of those added up is where they get that number. If you go to the police to report that your bike was stolen,
From the same study. So yes, in the CDC National Intimate Partner Sexual Violence Survey, the category of R word includes completed alcohol or drug facilitated penetration when the victim is too drunk, high, drugged, or passed out, or and unable to consent. That is also included as R word. So in the same survey, he mentioned, right, being inebriated, right, being drugged, taking drugs, right, being drunk, that is part of it too. So in the same survey.
and they don't find enough evidence to pursue it, that doesn't change the fact that your bike was stolen. That is not a false allegation. Numerous studies have been done on this, and all of them have found that false rape allegations occur between 2 and 10% of the time, with the largest study finding 6.8%, meaning that a woman is only making it up 6.8% of the time. Believe it or not, but that's actually pretty consistent with the false allegation rate for just about every crime, including bicycle theft. In fact, parsing out the numbers, as a man, you are more likely to be the victim of a rape than you are to be falsely accused of a rape. It does happen, and it's awful, but it's very, very rare. Men often feel like they have no choice when it comes to conceiving a child. Once the woman is pregnant, all decisions are left to her, which makes sense on multiple levels. Biologically and evolutionarily, she has to invest much more and has much more to lose. But it also makes legal sense. It's scary to think that a woman's reproductive choices would be at the mercy of a man, whether he wants the child or not, which is why the Supreme Court said that shouldn't be the case. You know what would solve a lot of these issues and level the reproductive playing field? If men had access to a birth control pill. That's what started the second wave of feminism, after all. But paternity traps and even false allegations and domestic violence really only seem to come up during particularly messy divorces. There is no question that the family court system is biased against men. The divorce rate in the United States rose sharply during the 70s and 80s, but has been holding at 40 to 50% for the last few decades. Half of all marriages end in divorce, whether it's your first or third. Dividing assets during a divorce is a messy process. Anything you earned or bought while you were together is technically both of yours, so things get divided 50-50, which is usually a raw deal for the man who was the primary breadwinner. But that's historically. In the decades since the women's
But notice the wording that didn't include if the other party is also intoxicated. Sometimes it doesn't always include that, right? But again, if people can do, right, if you're too intoxicated to consent, that can happen too. I'm not saying that it's automatic, right? I didn't say it's automatic, but it happens a lot where you may you're too drunk and you wanted to have sex. You had sex, and then it just so happened that again, I don't want to make it seem like that's all the time. Of course, that's not all the time. I'm just saying that shit. You know, very what would I say? Ambiguously vague shit does happen, right? Like you again, if you're too intoxicated to consent, right? It just means that you're really drunk. Even if you do consent, it can be wrong. Evil Eddie, what is up, my brother?
Liberation movement, women have become the primary breadwinner in 40% of households. So dividing assets is becoming more equitable, but alimony and custody still favor women. Alimony, or spousal support, was an idea from back in the day when women's only job was to be a housewife. After a divorce, they'd go into the job market for the first time ever with no marketable skills. So if you wanted to divorce a woman, you had to financially help her until she could get a job. But now that women are more independent, you'd think that alimony would be phased out, or at least very rare. And compared to 40 years ago, it is. Women are only awarded alimony in 10% of divorces today. Strangely enough, men are awarded alimony 3% of the time. Spousal support is based on who gets paid more, and typically, men still get paid more. But men often get the short end of the stick during a divorce when it comes to child custody. Unlike dividing monetary assets, dividing children is somewhat more difficult.
But this is my thing where, again, men do know everything's not always, you got to get alimony. But the thing is that you shouldn't get alimony at all, right? Why? That's the problem where it shouldn't even be in a day. See, men do know that not every case is a woman's going to get alimony, right? Men do know that. The issue is that why do you get alimony at all in today's age? That is the issue. Men shouldn't be paying women alimony at all. You can get a job. That's just plain and simple.
These numbers were accurate for the time. The more recent numbers are 80.4% for women and 19.6% for men. However, they are missing vital context. In 1986, women were given sole custody 80% of the time. By 1994, it had dropped to 74%. In 2008, women only got sole custody 42% of the time. So why does that census number still say 80-something%? Because you have legal custody of a child until they're 20 in some states, depending on whether they're still in school. If you got custody in 1994, you could still have custody for the purposes of those 2015 numbers. So yes, currently 80% of custodial parents are mothers, but the family court system and social norms have changed, and it's going to take a decade or two for the census numbers to reflect that. Joint custody is actually the norm now. 27% of the time, custody is split 50-50 between mother and father. 18% of the time, it's some uneven balance. Sole custody going to the father has remained pretty much unchanged since the 80s. But here's the kicker, the thing the Red Pill never mentions. 91% of custody decisions are made without involving the family court system at all. And 51% of the time, the father just lets the mother have custody.
The family court system truly is biased against men. I mean, there's just no question about it.
There's no doubt that there have been some men who get just screwed by court decisions in custody cases.
The unfairness in the family courts, the unfairness in the way child support is so often structured.
Remember, only 9% of cases go to family court, but child support is a rather contentious issue and is often cited as one of the main ways men are disadvantaged. And it shouldn't surprise you to hear that's been changing too. Child support depends on a number of different factors, including how custody is split and who makes more money. It is
Exactly. I agree.
still possible in joint custody situations. But of women who have sole custody, 52.3% of them also get child support. Of men, it's only 31.4%. Since men tend to earn more, that makes sense. Interesting side note, we're all familiar with the term deadbeat dad for a father who's delinquent on child support. 25.4% of men who are supposed to pay child support don't. But among women who are supposed to pay child support, 32% of them don't. So deadbeat moms are actually more common as a percentage. It shouldn't surprise you to hear that divorce is the primary recruitment tool for men's rights activist groups.
Many men's rights activists come into being men's rights activists as a result of getting a divorce, wanting to be equally involved with the children, and realizing that women have the right to children and men have to fight for children.
Again, I think it's important to point out that the vast majority of divorces and custody disputes don't end up in family court, but it is safe to assume that when they do, men tend to lose. lose. So what is the feminist response to the current state of divorce? You should all know who this is. She's the go-to thumbnail for anti-feminist YouTube. She goes by the name Big Red, and she is very loud and obnoxious. But try to look past the tone in her voice and listen to what she's actually saying.
Feminists do not want you to lose custody of your children. The assumption that women are naturally better caregivers is part of patriarchy. Feminists do not want you to have to make alimony payments. Alimony is set up to combat the fact that women have been historically expected to prioritize domestic duties over professional goals, thus minimizing their earning potential if their traditional marriages end.
Why didn't the MRAs stop her right then and say, hey, we actually agree with you. Let's do something about it. I realize the tone is an issue, but outside of that, none of the things I've talked about in this video are actually against feminism. In fact, a lot of the time, they're parallel issues. Why aren't MRAs and feminists working together? You know what would fix a lot of the issues that men's rights groups and feminists are working to solve? An equal rights amendment that makes men and women equal under the law. It was squashed in the 70s because anti-feminists wanted to keep divorce and custody unequal and women out of the military and the draft. Why aren't MRAs pushing for that legislation? The common trope is that MRAs aren't actually trying to change anything.
Alpha, what is up? They're increasing numbers. I agree. This is a thing where, let me say this, right? Let me say this. Why do feminists not want to, why do feminists and, I don't know, men's right activists want to be together? Here's my opinion. Women don't give a shit if men benefit. Women don't care. Feminists don't care if men benefit. They don't care. They don't care. They're not. This is a thing where women aren't. Because here's the thing. Do you ever heard of a feminist saying that, you know what? Let's end alimony. Let's always have custody 50-50. They don't. Women don't care about these issues, right? She may say that, you know what? Oh, alimony is because of the patriarchy and shit like that, right? But okay, you don't fight on it. That's not a goal you want to abolish, right? It's like, oh, you know what? We do care about having 50-50 custody. Okay, but you don't fight on it. You know these situations. You don't advocate on it. You don't talk about it.
They just hate women.
What you'll hear is that we hate women. You'll hear that it's a backlash against women's rights.
That's somewhat difficult to argue against since MRAs didn't exist until the 80s. It's clearly a direct response to feminism. But MRAs are just part of the larger picture known as the manosphere. Just as feminism isn't a single monolith that agrees on everything, there are several groups within the manosphere that don't always get along. First, you have the men's rights activists that care about equality in divorce and male disposability, legitimate issues discussed in this video. But then you have the incels, short for involuntarily celibate, men who are unsuccessful in their dating lives and
I don't know if I'll include incels in the manosphere. Just because they're probably a group of men, it doesn't mean that they're under manosphere. Incels, come on. It's like, this is why it's a joke.
blame women and feminism for it. Then there are the voluntarily celibate, or volcels, more often called MGTOW for men going their own way. These are men who don't like women and don't want women. And on the flip side, there are the pickup.
I don't know if I would say that MGTOW don't like women, right? Is that they just want, they prefer their own peace, right? In my opinion, right? From what I've heard by MGTOW, it's that they just want to go, they just want peace. And they know that, you know what? Usually women won't bring them peace. So they just go their own way. This is a problem where I don't think any of these groups, even the incels, don't hate women, right? In general. Of course, there's any group will probably have some women haters, but in general, they don't hate women, right? To say that any group hates women is disingenuous, in my opinion.
Artists who don't like or respect women, but still very much want them, even to the...
Again, you don't like or respect women. It's like, again, see, this is, it's like, when you bring on these, when you say all these extra shit, it's like, just, you're bringing your own opinion to it. So I see what type of person you are. To say that they don't like women, it's like, they want to get relationships with women or whatever because they don't like them. Absolutely ridiculous.
Point of tricking them. There are other factions, some of which are even creepier. Not all MRAs like them being around, but when one of the leaders of the men's rights movement says stuff like this,
if men made the rules to benefit men at the expense of women, here's some of the way the world would look like. We would make rules that every woman would be sexual with us whenever we would like. And that the women who are very young, maybe 13 or 14, would be very interested in us.
it's kind of hard to deny that they are on this list. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention that there is a significant overlap between the manosphere and white nationalist groups. Not every MRA is in the alt-right, but Some of them are. The point is, whenever there's a men's rally, these guys show up too, while these guys try to say that they don't hate women, they just hate feminism.
Feminists aren't the only problem. The problems didn't start with feminism. So when I start criticizing feminism, I want you to know you're just part of the problem.
It's so hard to convince people to look at men's rights activism and support it without first allowing them to at least escape the stranglehold that feminism has on their minds.
When men's rights groups bring up issues that are important to them and present their information, they don't bring up any serious solutions. Instead, they just conclude that therefore, feminism is wrong. The red pill seems to be more about downplaying and dismissing women's issues than anything else, a way to delegitimize feminism as a whole. It's an evil ideology that brainwashes people.
Are you conflating feminism, which is an ideology, with women, which is a demographic of society?
Ideologies and isms aren't inherently bad. Capitalism is an ideology. Men's rights groups appear to be more of a coping mechanism for men who feel defensive against or even victimized by feminism. If men were looking for end-goal solutions, they would see feminists as allies. A big hang-up for many in the men's rights movement seems to be the language. Why is the bad thing patriarchy and the force for good feminism? If it's about equality, then why don't you call it egalitarianism? You have to look past the surface-level language that was developed back when it was objectively true 50 years ago. You might even find that it's applicable to men's issues. The fact that men are always seen as the aggressors in a rape, that female teachers never rape their male students, and that prison rape is always a punchline, that's all part of rape culture. When people automatically think that men are capable, they're more likely to listen to and believe you. But when you actually need...
Debate which point? Which point? Which point would you want to debate?
Need help, they're less likely to offer it because you're supposed to be capable. That's the downside of male privilege. The fact that you're supposed to man up and not be a pussy, never show emotion and not cry like a bitch, that's toxic masculinity. That hyper-masculine pride that leads men to never go to the doctor when they need to, end up homeless or with drug and alcohol addictions and eventually suicide. Patriarchy doesn't only oppress women. Not only does it expect women to be in subservient roles, it expects men to be in dominant ones. Whether you want to be or not, it expects you to be the breadwinner in your family, to be willing to sacrifice your life for your country or work in some heroic masculine profession, like being a firefighter or a coal miner or a knight in medieval times, which you can learn more about by going to curiositystream.com/titles from some of the work you can play about $2.99 the right response to Gillette for contradict feminism. And none of the points that the watch commercial makes are actually a response to Gillette. Instead, it's just a list of ways men have it bad.
We see the good in men.
This all seems to be one giant whataboutism. Oh, so you want to close the gender pay gap? Well, what about male suicide rates? What about workplace fatality?
The fucking this is why I said this shit is disingenuous, right? Men don't do that. Show me when they no. When men say that the gender wage gap, right? Like they don't say what about it, like, oh, what about men? No, they say like gender wage gap. Like literally when men, it's like, this is why it's in, like he can make some good points and then say some stupid shit that just like kind of invalidates all his points, right? For example, he said, oh, what about the gender wage gap? Men don't say then, oh, what about men's suicide? Men don't say that shit. He said, okay, you brought up gender wage gap. Did you know that it's a myth? What women make about a penny less than men, right? About that. The gender wage gap is because how it's calculated, right? In a sense, it's all jobs, right? All women's jobs. I mean, all jobs with women, all men's jobs, right? Combined, right? And then correlated. It's not equal, right? It's not same job with same job, same skills with same skills, same hours with same hours. When you do that, it's about a 1 cent difference, right? It's very negligible. See, this is why this shit is disingenuous. When you do shit like this, 100%, most detractors, when they say that, oh, the gender wage gap, they're not doing no whataboutisms. Are you saying women's and men sure be treated the same or different? I think, let's say, am I saying that women and men should be treated the same or different? I think we should be treated the same legally. I think men and women should be treated the same legally. Okay. Society, I think there's differences. He's saying that men's rights red pill movement started literally to combat the pay gap. No, what? men's right did not start to combat the pay gap back in the 80s. That's no. The red pill origins are entirely because they wanted to take the spotlight from women. See again, nothing they didn't, or just making sure. Thank you. No, that's right. Legally, we should all be treated different. Legally, we should all be treated the same. Right? I believe legally we should all be treated the same, but society, there's a difference with that. Not saying that you are that. I don't think that you are, but again, my thing is that taking the spotlight from women. It's to say that it's to say that you can't say, one issue, right, without saying the other issue is right. This is why a lot of men say that two things can be true at once, right? Two things can be true at once. I don't know. Women having a shitty life, great. Well, men also have a shitty life. It's just two things can be true at once. That's it. My problem with how a lot of society is that we talk about women having a shitty life. We don't give a shit if men have a shitty life. That's the thing. There really isn't. There isn't really today, right? Today, maybe there was once upon a time, right? Today, there isn't a real wage gap, right? I am the prize. What is up? What is up? There isn't a real wage gap today.
What about them? We can work on all of that. Men being the victims of domestic violence is an issue, and there should be more funding for male shelters. But that doesn't mean we need to take away from women's shelters. This isn't a—
Who said? See, exactly what Alan's trying to do, right? The spotlight. No one is saying let's take away the spotlight from women. It's like that's not what people are saying. Like, if women are bad shit happened to women, great, tell us about it. No one's saying that, oh, we don't give a shit. We don't need to know. Society, we do, right? It's very talked about in society. The problem is no one gives a shit about men. Neither men nor women care about men, right? So again, it's not saying that let me take some of the spotlight from women. No, it's like, why can't two things coexist? Women are suffering, understandable. Men also are, right? Men are also suffering. It's just how it is.
Zero-sum game. We can do both. The conclusion shouldn't be, therefore your original point was wrong.
We can do both. We can do both. But no one is, but you make it seem like that's what Red Pillars or Manosphere is saying, that we can't do both. Show me a clip. Show me a clip that says that, that men are promoting that we shouldn't do both. We should ignore the issues of women and just focus on the issues of men. Show me a clip. That's all I'm asking. Show it to me, right? If you want to prove your point, right? Show me the proof. That's it. I mean, I've changed my mind on plenty of things in my past, right? In my history. Show me the point. That's it. Alan is probably a feminist. Alan would probably consider himself a feminist. So, but yeah. What do you guys think? It's like he's trying to toe the line of being in between, but like not in totality. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for being here. Right? I'm a hardcore feminist. I support women's rights to have as much smecks as they want. Go Queen. Evil Eddie, man, if Evil Eddie is a feminist, then I'm a feminist. Right? If Evil Eddie is a feminist, then I'm a feminist. Which I definitely ain't. All right, so we're going to end in about 30 minutes to an hour. Then I'm going to try to go on Discord, my Discord. Please check it out. The link is in the description, right? Evil Eddie, if you want to put the link, right? I'm going to try to stream the fight tonight, right? Hopefully it goes well. Hopefully I could do it, right? I've never tried it before, right? I've never tried it before. So hopefully I could stream the fight and we could all watch it together. We could all react and check it out together. So I'm going to stream the fight. Hopefully it will go well, right? So, but I'm just gonna watch a few videos and stuff, and then we'll end and just check out the Discord. Hopefully, again, like I said, I've never tried this. I've never tried it before, so I don't know if it will, turn out well. Right? So this is going to be an experiment.
So
I was watching this a little bit before, so I just wanted to continue to watch it on stream, just for the hell of it. Like I said, I'm just watching whatever until about close to 8 o'clock, right? Close to 8 o'clock, and then and then that's it, and we'll check out Discord and see how that works.
no, I don't need a partner, a husband, or whatever to have love. I already have.
And what's crazy is Sharon didn't marry her either. No, ma'am, you played yourself.
She ain't never complained. She didn't complain. This is the issue that y'all men are not seeing. Y'all so blind. Right, y'all love men so much that y'all forgetting the part that she ain't complain. She's saying she's living her life. She's doing everything that she wants. She's hitting all the marks that she want for her life, and she don't need no significant relationship. Oh, now I arrived. With this man, all of these men that you obviously love, maybe you should go ahead and holler at all these men that she dated that you know that these are such great men. You know that they're great men, but clearly to her, they was not great. Clearly, just for the example of what Bo gave earlier, yeah, she could have had that 12 years if she was just willing to dumb herself down and not see what she see.
I don't
So
know.
this idea that women are not experiencing these so-called great men and they are pieces of ish in real life. You only know him on the surface of you giving him the image because he can run fast. Oh, he must be a good man. That's you that believe that him running fast in some goddamn tights means something to a woman.
So listen, she had more than just access to those women.
And understand what our women are communicating to us and understand, listen, that's it. She didn't say that she need any of those things that you were talking about.
Of the 24 men that she's been linked to that all have net worths above $30 million, assuming that we can't say she slept with all of them, say she slept with half. Who is the common denominator? What's the common vagina between those 12 failures of relationships? Because you can't say she wasn't complaining when she was on the podcast complaining for the past 2 years. She definitely was complaining. And now it's literally like a fat girl is like, you know what? Fuck it. Working out is too hard. I'm going to stay fat. That's all she's doing. That is literally what she's doing right now. The gambling analogy was great. It was spot on. It was perfect. And this is the best part about it. You definitely have to settle for what you work for.
I don't understand that. What is wrong with this community where we can't say we are the leaders? We run and lead the charge. Nothing will ever scale past the men, ever. And that's still evident.
Again, because we don't apply that logic to Leonardo DiCaprio.
That exists, especially in this community, that hates to see confident, competent, self-assured men that know what they're capable of, what they deserve, and what they're not going to freaking tolerate. The mere fact that you sit here and clamor and saying, well, everybody gonna marry a hoe, like men are not deserving of a woman who has some level of character, decorum, who can present something to him of pride and prestige. It's almost like, well, no, lower your standards, fellas. You can't have what you want. But on the flip side, the women can definitely demand and clamor for what they want.
True. Even Superhead got married. So, and what's crazy is Melissa Ford wasn't even the best hoe of her era. So she didn't even get on.
Broke like it's the same equivalent, but for whatever.
Guys, Sally Richardson Whitfield and Dondre Whitfield. Yeah,
we had him on the podcast.
I'm a huge fan.
We did.
I'm a huge. Am I in bed with these people? No, I don't know their lives, but I have seen them. They've been married for a really long time. They're very, very supportive of each other's careers. And Dondre is a womanist. He is very like. He'll go up to women in the supermarket. Sis, if you need anything, If you need to be walked to your car, if you're fearful, come find me. Like, he's just a really good dude. You know what I mean? So I'm not one to idolize other people's relationships, but I will say, I don't want it. I want, like, the guy that I would be involved with, God, he's special. He's special. He's special, and I just haven't found that.
I want to say that he had this moment in the podcast, which I'm just going to like pin to my heart forever, where I asked him about his son, and he closed his eyes and opened them, and a single tear fell, and he said,
"My son is my hope for every woman. His heart, it's so gigantic."
What? Your son is the hope for every woman? So your son is going to date multiple women?
He's so spiritually sensitive. He's such a servant. When I tell you that boy's manhood, I would put up against any man right now at 17 years old. That dude is ready to be somebody's husband right now.
My friend, Jeff Friday, the founder of
Good. I am the prize. A good battle. We got, you know what? That would be fun. That would be fun. I don't think really leftists really watch my stuff like that. Besides for like a handful, right? I only know like two, right? Zyrax and Alan, those are very leftist people, right? That come on and debate. But I don't think they're here tonight. Or besides for Alan, but I think he's gone. I think Alan's gone. I mean, like I would have like said if he wanted to debate, we could have gone on TikTok, right? We could have gone on TikTok to debate something for a little bit. But I think he's gone. So, but I mean, like it would have been fun. It would have been fun to have a short debate or something. That would have been interesting. Let me check something else. I'm just watching things to watch stuff. Da, 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 da. Let's check this one. This one will be fun.
Alcoholic idiot yelling over here.
It's kind of, Myron, listen,
citizenship.
You're not white.
Sorry.
We don't need you talking to white women, trying to interact with them at all.
And that's the problem.
Right. Off
That's
the
the problem. I don't need to be white to give a. See, here's the thing. You're behaving like a black person.
Your only relationship started when you were in your mid-30s and also ended in your mid-30s.
Okay.
Why should anybody listen to you for
You're
dating
the cloud
advice?
chaser guy that got beat by Andrew Wilson, right?
No, I beat Andrew Wilson.
Okay,
Only
you're
dick
that guy.
only dick
That guy.
writers. Only dick writers. Why should it? Can you shut the fuck up? Can you shut the fuck up, fat ass? Listen.
Yeah, this guy.
Listen.
This guy's a cloud chaser.
No, it's not a cloud chaser in your mid-30s. Why should anybody listen to you?
No, I am. I am glad because here's the thing, my friend. I've dated and been around a lot of women.
No, you haven't.
Okay.
Self-admitted you've had one relationship, but keep lying. Go ahead.
Okay. Buddy, you do realize that you don't have to be within the confinements of a traditional relationship to understand and date and be around a lot of women, correct?
So you know a lot about relationships?
Quite a bit, yeah.
Quite
a bit.
Being in one,
and then most importantly, I understand female nature to a degree to identify which women qualify for a relationship and which ones don't. Now, you might not know that because you're a simp and you're a sucker and you believe in the marriage
and I'm
institution.
Married, I've been in many relationships.
See, here's the thing.
Yeah,
See, sir, that does not qualify you. Being married, that means basically, okay, well, I found a wife, I'm cool or whatever. But that's not the male statistic of success. The male statistic of success is do women, right? Do you have the ability?
Video. I have a viral video. I have a viral is attractive. 3,000 comments. Guess how many women said yes? Take a guess. Am I only supposed to believe you and no experience?
Okay, let me give you an example. As we were driving here, I saw Bundy drive. Are you familiar with the guy Ted Bundy?
Sure.
How many women showed up at his trial?
I'm sure people are crazy and like Ted Bundy.
Okay,
but
so
you can't attract women. You're supposedly a high value man.
Are you gonna be quiet as I explain this to you?
Why are we talking about Ted Bundy?
Because I'm gonna bring this somewhere.
Okay.
The reality is that the things that women are attracted to and aroused by are not politically correct a lot of the times. And women are not going to be honest, and they don't have a vested interest in being honest with what they are attracted and aroused by, because the things that arouse and attract them are not politically correct.
So when someone
let me finish what I'm saying.
So the women that are
once again, I'm trying to explain to you, women like bad boys, women like men that are dangerous. Women tend to be hybristophiliacs significantly more than men, which means they're attracted to men that are dangerous, that are criminals, etc. Now, women aren't going to admit this openly for obvious reasons. So what they tell simps like you, right? I like a guy who's nice. I like a guy who gets me flowers. I like a guy who's XYZ. Yeah, that's what the model that you use when you dispense your shitty dating advice. That's what you dispense.
I don't say that.
So anyway, like I was saying, the reality is that women are not going to be honest about what they're attracted to and what they're aroused by.
But you believe
and
the Ted Bundy ladies.
I'm using Ted Bundy,
But you believe
the
Ted Bundy
Stalker,
ladies.
Luigi Mangione. Why are women?
You believe those ladies, but you don't believe the ones that say you're unattractive.
I believe their actions. If a girl wakes up at 6 o'clock in the morning to go look at some dude's trial who's a criminal, okay, that she doesn't even know, he doesn't even know that she exists, that tells you where women stand sexually with a lot of things. And again,
it's
like I told you
convenient
before,
what you believe. It's convenient. You
I've
believe
just given
those
you
women,
Jeffrey
but you don't
Dahmer,
believe
Jeffrey
you believe
Dahmer,
that those
Ted
women are
Bundy,
attracted to
the
them.
Night
Yes.
Stalker, Richard
You
Ramirez,
believe
Luigi
that those
Mangione.
women are attracted
I'm
to
giving
them,
you
but
an
you
example.
He believes in the actions. He don't believe those women. He believes action rather than words. It is 100% true that human beings lie, right? Human beings lie. Oh, yo, Zyrax. Yo, we got did I not just say the resident my resident what is it? Disagreeer? We should be debating shit like this, right? Alan was just here. He wanted to debate me, but he left. Zyrax, no. I'm not saying that Myron is the smartest person, but to say he's dumb, he's not. He makes a lot of good points, right? He makes a lot of good points. We should debate this. My sister, we should be debating these things, right? I mean, like, what do you think about him is dumb? We should definitely debate this.
Believe the women aren't attracted to you. Why do you believe them but not that?
I'm telling you that they're not going to be honest with you and tell you that they're attracted to me or not.
They're honest about
That's
the
not
Ted
really
Bundy.
relevant.
But they're honest about Ted Bundy.
They're honest through their actions, right? They're honest through their actions. They're not honest through their words. That is the thing. Okay? Did he? Charles Manson just got married? That's crazy. Again, it's the thing where you can trust people's action more than you can trust people's words.
But they're not honest about you.
Yeah, they're not going to go on camera and tell some random guy who's like, "Do you find Myron Gaines attractive?" He's going to tell your dumb monkey ass no.
You supposedly have everything.
Of course he's going to tell you no,
You supposedly have everything these women want.
You're a
right?
fucking conservative faggot. Of course he's going to tell you no. Like, what the fuck?
You've had one
dude. I do Roman
girlfriend
salutes.
as a
I call out
mid-30s.
Jews.
Okay. Yeah.
Of
so
course
you
he's going to say no.
You believe
It's
what you
not
want to
politically
believe.
correct
You believe what
to
you
be
want to
attracted
believe and
guys like
ignore
me.
everything else. I got it.
Okay,
yeah.
buddy. Anyway, back to what I was saying.
Ignorance.
Okay, back to what I was saying. Whether you think I'm attractive or the weird women that you ask think I'm attractive is
Weird
irrelevant. The
women.
point I'm trying to make is that I've been with a lot of
Why don't you ask
women.
the women here?
Okay, sure. We just built a very successful podcast, saving guys from killing themselves, whatever.
By controvery, by getting
No,
this guy to like you.
You know what? Because for telling the truth, and the truth is,
I would love that. His statements are dumb. We got to do that. We got to like. See, this is what I'm saying. There's so much we could talk about. There's so much we could talk about.
No,
this is what I said
you're
before.
Controversy. Rage bait is popular. It's not because you're telling the truth. It's because people love rage bait, and that's what you do. You're the king of rage bait, and people love that.
Guys that are murderers.
Then why don't they like you?
How do you know they don't?
Because I know they don't.
Okay.
Prove that they.
Because they said it to you. It's like it's ridiculous.
Do prove that women like you.
Again, do a
Prove that
survey.
women like you.
Some fucking woman in the back.
Angie said she's happier without you. The only girlfriend you've had says she's happier without you. So that's the proof I need. You've had one girlfriend. She says she's better without you. So that's enough proof for me.
So when I say when it comes to girlfriend, right? That was the only girl that I like provided for, took care of, etc. All the
Jeremiah, what is up? Why does it immediately devolve into a cool sunglass? And how much? Yeah, this is the thing where again, I don't care for the whole thing where, you know, if you don't get sex, you're uncool or women don't like you. Why? It's like that's not a good metric.
The other girls that I've been with, I've had plenty of relationships. I've had 3 to 4 girlfriends at a time, had a bunch of women. So, but the only girl that I decided, you know what, I want to take this to the next level, provide for everything else like that, because I have a vetting phase, right?
The only girl you put on camera.
Are you gonna let me? No, because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So I'm explaining to you what it is. You're over here making these claims that are completely wrong.
Sure.
This is why you don't have an audience. Nobody watches you. That's why nobody knows.
Yeah, this is the thing where I don't want to. I mean, this is why I said never agree with anyone 100%. Right? Even though there are certain things that Myron say I agree with, one of the things I disagree with is having a body count of 50. Right? Now, having experience is great, right? It's a good thing to have experience. You don't necessarily need to have a body count of 50 to understand women, okay? You don't need to, right? To be honest, I have a body count of like 10 or under, I believe, right? So I think I know women pretty well. You know.
100,000 followers in less than
That's
a year.
why you've been following me.
I have 100,000
That's why you've
followers
been following me
in less
around
than a year.
everywhere.
I live here. I'm not following you anywhere. Oh, fuck America! What were you doing there? No, I didn't. You said you weren't going to be there. Funny is, you knew.
No,
who
I don't
am.
even know who your
Isn't that
name is, bro.
interesting?
I really don't.
Followers in less than a year.
Congratulations.
You know who I am. Yeah,
congratulations.
You know
100,000.
Exactly.
That's still insignificant. Nobody knows who the fuck you are. Cares.
You do.
But the point I'm trying to make is, well, what's up, man? Welcome.
Hey, man. Thank you. My name is Jack. I'm a medical student here at UCLA. I wanted to ask you a little bit about like Israel, maybe the Middle East. We just restate.
Let's do it.
Restate what you were saying about that
Since we're
before.
talking about this topic. Go ahead.
You wanna summarize the book for me? I haven't read it.
You never said
Well, I've heard of it. I've heard of the book. I haven't read it.
Basically, Jews do some dumb shit.
I mean, I know kind of more about recent history, not about the older stuff.
Well, I mean, if we're going to be simple, the state of Israel.
I'm for the streets. I mean, God, if 10 is for the streets, dang, anyone above that, a lot of women must be like for the universe. I did if I'm for the streets. Hell, you gotta think, right? I'm 42, right? I'm 42. It's not like I'm 22, right? So to have that body count,
Israel's a parasite. We need to stop giving them aid. They create a lot of problems for us. Geopolitical problems all over. Many of the middle.
What's up, Myron? Hey, I've just been observing you for like 5, years.
Yeah.
I'm here to talk about,
it's all good,
basically the black community, and basically just identify who you are and just identify your real message. So the first question is, do you find it uneasy in your eyes that white people in America has to compete
I know, I'm playing too.
for things they want in life?
Do I find it uneasy that white people have to compete for things?
Yeah, like when it comes to like, competition, super competition, they gotta look at a black man at eye level to compete for something. Do you find that kind of uneasy? Just in general, in everything?
I think everyone has to compete, and I think that's good.
Okay. I mean, this from observing to you, I mean, it just, when I'm like looking at your streams and stuff like that, it just seems like you just find it like unwell for people to like compete against another person of color. I'll go to the next question.
Yo, Ethan, what is up, my brother?
No, I'm for open competition. Like I think we should operate on a meritocracy, not to fill DEI quotas.
Okay. To keep it real, do you think civil rights was a mistake? If so, how?
No, I don't think it was a mistake. I think obviously giving everybody the equality of opportunity was important, but now
I think civil rights was not a mistake at all. I think what makes it a mistake is its vagueness, right? I think, I'm sorry, but the alphabet community using it when to be honest, it was based on race, right? Civil rights was based on race. It was not based on whatever gender, whatever sex you think you are, right?
we've gotten to a point now where it's equality of outcome, and that's the problem.
Okay, and so within your talks, with Kick YouTube, I believe, yeah.
Yeah.
So How can you be so passionate about claiming black people are the bottom of the barrel and has low IQ, but sit there and surround yourself with practically his entire teams with blacks, from learning the aspects of real estate to standing up for yourself and to making constant content and bringing up ideas? Like, for example, like Marquette Davins and Brandon Carter, Tristan and Andrew Tate, stuff like that.
Yeah, because here's the thing. I acknowledge individual skill sets, right? I'm black myself. But when I say things, I'm talking about it generally. And, you know, it tends to be like, you know, and it's interesting because, like, black people and Jews are the people that get the most offended. If I say something critical of black people.
I want to keep this in mind. All right. I know a good learning aspect for people to learn. So with Jews, right, the first Jews are black. Okay. When you look in the Bible, the scriptures and shit like that, okay, everybody on there is niggas. So you got to keep in mind, you know, just with the times when you start explaining about Jews, you gotta identify the person first. So Caucasian Jews talk about Jews and shit like that, they think of white first, and that's not how it is. They gotta think the totality of what the Jews is, and it's also a religious practice. It's not an ethnicity.
How was it? Oh, how was it dating like dating black women? It was tough. I don't know, just the black Israelites. It was tough, right? Dating black women was tough. I'll be blunt with you guys, right? I'll be blunt with you guys. Black women, they love hard, right? They love hard. They're great in the bed, right? But they don't take shit. It's like you are not the man of the relationship. They hold the pants. They wear the pants, right? You got to follow their leadership, which is like, it's like, but they also expect you to be a leader, yet you have to follow their lead. It's chaos, right? For me, I'm gonna say my experience, right? My experience, it's chaos. Dating black women is chaos. If you love drama, if you love ups and downs, and you love craziness, if you love, you know, every day being like very fiery, very, you know, crazy, yeah, dating black women would be that. It didn't bring me peace, right? So it
actually is an ethnicity.
No, it's not.
Why there's Jews that are atheists, etc.
Them as a different being, you know, they're still white at the end of the day. I just want to emphasize.
No,
that.
They're not white, and that's quite literally that's. See, and this is the thing with the black community. A lot of times, you guys will complain about, like, you know, systemic racism or, you know, white supremacy or whatever. A lot of the times, the people that you guys are pissed off at that are oppressing you.
Look this shit up too.
This is pissed off at, or you say that are oppressing you or whatever, really a lot of times end up being Jews. It's just that they look like they're white because they're, you know, maybe
they're
from
Caucasian,
Ukraine or
yeah.
That's fine. You can say that. You can say that.
Yeah,
but they're Jewish. There's a reason why they'll sit there and be like, well, you got to remove white people or whatever. Why do you think Ashkenazi Jews who look white are some of the biggest opponents of white nationalists or white identitarians, etc.? It's because they don't identify as white. Now, they'll identify as white when it benefits them. But there's a reason why someone like a Ben Shapiro, when he's asked, are you white? He doesn't know what to say because they don't identify as white realistically. They identify as Jewish, okay? Now, with that said, and that's a big part of their right of return. So they absolutely have an identity that you can do a whole
it's a
DNA
religious
test.
Practice.
It's a religion and
it's
ethnicity.
A religious practice.
Which ethnicity was the best to date as an Asian man? I got into Latina women first because I live in SoCal, but goodness, when you date a Latina, you date her whole family. To be honest, I can't make an accurate view on that. I've dated majority black women, right? Majority of the women I've dated were black. Again, I've only dated 2 Asian women, so I've never dated any other women. So, you know, this is why I have a low body count, right? So I don't have like a high, crazy amount of experience, right? I'm not a player, right? So I don't know what it's like dating a white woman, a Latina woman, all that other, you know. So I don't know, right? It was all I can say is it was interesting dating black women.
Practice.
Okay, all right.
Go ahead.
Let's go to of the black community, despite the fact that I have black people that work with me and that there's other black people that are intelligent. Great.
Like basically, like you use the user and shit like that, and then you like kind of, you know, turn it against the people of color. I don't know. You preach about men, about making money and stuff like that, but you're really trying to turn that into the white audience. You really don't really preach about how to uplift the black community, and that's why I'm
really?
trying to emphasize.
It's actually quite the contrary. I get black people calling into my show all the time. One guy called in literally the other day, hey, I want to buy Audi i8, but I want to get into real estate. You know what I told him? You buy 5 houses, you buy real estate, you get passive income, you take that passive income, and then you use that to pay off your liability. I tell people all the time, don't do the nigga shit. Don't buy the Jordans. Don't buy the fancy clothing. Don't buy the designer. Don't spend money on fine dining. I tell them all the time that none of this stuff is going to benefit. Can you let me finish my point?
Yeah, like Marquette Davidson taught you some nigga shit.
Can you let me finish?
Marquette Davidson taught you some nigga shit. He taught you on the low, like how to fight and how to stand up for yourself.
He didn't teach me nothing. He didn't teach me anything. Anyway, so back to what I was saying, right?
Hey, that's what he said on the film.
Yeah, then that's not true. That's not true. He didn't teach me anything.
Like even doing his practices right now,
he didn't teach me anything.
For yourself.
Time, reject materialism, focus on buying real estate, invest, save your money, don't be an idiot, and live way below your means. That's what I tell guys all the time. I told people that literally on a call-in show the other day. Now, when it comes to the whole race thing, whatever, see, this is the issue that I have. If I'm critical of the black...
Once you go black, you never wanted to date again. I gotta admit, right? It was hard, right? Dating, I mean, like, I give so much credit to black men. Dating black women is not for the weak. I could tell you this, right? Dating black women is not for the weak. They are heavily emotional. I'm not saying that I know what dating white women or other women are like, but I know what dating black women are like, and it's not for the weak. So I give black men mad credit for them to able to successfully date black women, right? If you can get actual long-term relationships, if you don't get trauma from dating black women, you are successful.
Community, and I say things like, hey, stop being nigga, stop buying Jordan, stop buying, stop drinking alcohol, stop getting Hennessy, stop buying Timberland, stop doing all this dumb shit. Let me finish saying what I'm saying. Okay, stop hanging out with idiots, stop being a moron. You know what I mean? Don't commit crimes, whatever. Whenever I say these things, they say, "Oh, you're racist. Oh, you're a bigot. Oh, you're an Uncle Tom. Oh, you're a coon." Black men from doing dumb shit and not having a victim mindset like you have right now. I see black fatigue right now. You can't even let me finish saying what I'm saying.
Let's go into it.
This is the black fatigue right now.
Black fatigue.
Right? No.
Let's go into
it right now.
What's the definition?
I'm trying to explain what I'm trying to say. You're constantly interrupting. Right? I'm explaining and giving you my real position, and this is what I was trying to say.
I love that, right? My stocks videos don't get really much traction, so I don't do it as much. I'm a pretty aggressive investor, right? I'm a pretty aggressive investor. I pick my own stocks, right? I pick my stocks. The ones that are not aggressive, they I want a blacker one time. She stole my wallet and my heart. Yo, that's happened to me multiple times, my brother. All right, that's happened to me a few times. All right, but yeah. I pick my own stock. I'm an aggressive investor, right? I want my money to grow. I want my money to grow as fast as it can. So, yeah.
Before, when I criticize other groups of people, they don't cry and complain as much as the black community and the Jewish community do. They cry so much. Call me a racist, call me an anti-Semite, but you guys can never call me a liar, which is the point. As long as you can until you can call me a liar, quite frankly, I don't care about your opinion or what you think.
Okay,
you call me a coon or an anti-Semite or an Uncle Tom. I'm just keeping it real.
This is
I want black guys to not be criminals, not be idiots, reject materialism.
I want people with fatigue. Go ahead.
This right now.
Okay.
This right now. We're all fucking tired of you, bro. We're all fucking tired of you. See, this is what I'm talking. Like, yo. See, let me just look. Let me keep it real with you, okay? Because you're talking about some book from before. I'm talking about the colloquial sense right now. Black fatigue now is like the black fatigue now is where we can't be honest about criticisms of the black community, because if we do say anything about blacks, it's immediately met with, you're racist, you're a bigot, you need to lose your job, get out of here. This is why people are tired around being around blacks. We don't want to live around y'all niggas. You guys are annoying. You guys are fucking loud, obnoxious. You can't even let us finish our sentences like before, like right what you're saying before, bringing up a whole bunch of irrelevant shits as I'm explaining what I'm talking about. You mischaracterize my positions.
Laughing man, you know what that makes me think? Would you ever sell all your stocks? Would I ever sell all my stocks? Yeah, I would, right? But it's got to be a reason, right? The only reason why I would sell all my stocks is that I need that money right now, right? I need that money in a big thing, right? So let's hypothetically, if I want to buy a house, then yes, I'll sell my stock. If I want to, I don't know, put money into a business, right? Then I would do that, okay? Though, or to some kind of extreme emergency. But I'm holding on to my stocks. I'm not going to sell it until I really desperately need it, because I want to hold it on until for retirement.
You don't really pick up the black community. Really? I've talked to so many young black men and told them, yo, don't do this. Don't do that. Do not fall for this temptation.
Big bars. What is up, my brother?
Here. Save your money. No materialism. Don't buy the fucking designer. It's stupid. It's not going to help you. Do not lease that car. Do not do that shit. Save your money. Invest in real estate. But of course, you're going to look at that. You hate black people. Actually, no. I just tell them what they need to hear versus what they want to hear.
No. All right. So the definition of black fatigue by the book. All right. Black fatigue is a repeated variation of qualities that are passed down from generations and shit. If you don't want to live around blacks, that's on you.
Nobody wants to live around black.
Each other up. That's the whole point.
Great.
But the thing is, you don't push that.
That does not refute what I said. No one wants to live around blacks because of this.
That doesn't affect blacks at all. That's a them problem. And also on page 11, they also
didn't refute what I said though. Nobody wants to live around blacks, bro. Like it is what it is. Like they don't want to be around them.
Coming out here trying to get that validation.
And you're using like because the whole point is colloquial like modern definitions. And the black fatigue is a relatively new thing that's come over the past several years, where people are tired of having to being called a racist or whatever it may be, or be attacked for that matter.
They've always done that. We've been attacked every day. What the fuck are you talking about?
You've been attacked every day?
No, I'm just saying it just in the history.
I would argue you as a black man has more advantages than white people.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I mean, not advantages, but like no.
No. Like for example,
you know why? Because they don't have skill set. They can't fucking.
If that's right, identical GPAs or whatever, you're more than likely going to get hired.
Yeah, because I've been doing this shit naturally. They have an environment. They have.
What happened to meritocracy from before?
So
see,
I'm trying to pull up quotes for people to just to get the book and try to really.
Bro, nobody that black fatigue. When we talk about black fatigue, it's about like George Floyd, some dude who overdosed on fat. So hold on. So you think you don't? So you think George Floyd was like a martyr?
No, he was he was just a citizen that was just trying to get something to eat or whatever the fuck, and died for no reason. He wasn't no hero, and that's the problem. You guys are trying to paint him as a hero to try to demonize.
Know who George Floyd was? George Floyd was a multi-time convicted felon criminal. When he was apprehended on that day. No. Let's go through the facts.
Hero. That's just a regular citizen.
No. Let's go through the facts because you got
regular citizens not on drugs.
Never like to talk about the facts. This is what transpired on that day. On that day, he went into a convenience store, passed a fake note. That's a federal crime investigated by the Secret Service.
So
then on top of that
gives them reason
and then they call the police on him. Okay, let me finish what I'm saying. After that, they call the police on him. He goes ahead and conducts a drug transaction, another felony with his drug dealer right there. Police come. Pull him out. As he's about to get pulled out, what does he do? He swallows some fentanyl because he doesn't want to get arrested again for drug possession. As he's there, and Chauvin has his knee on his back, not on his neck, on his knee on his back.
He has
a technique that was taught by the Minneapolis Police Department, by the way. The Minneapolis Police Department, okay? He was taught that technique, okay? That was brought up by his defense. Also, he did not get a fair trial. Anyone that has half a brain that watched that trial knows that it was not a fair trial. How do I know this? Because they had a BLM activist on the jury. That's absolutely ridiculous.
What's the problem with that? I'm trying to explain, I'm trying to get your information.
Do you understand the process of voir dire and having an impartial jury?
Yeah, I want to talk politics, but I had a couple of quick questions first, so hopefully I can get through those and then we'll get to the discussion. Really quick, have you read that copy?
He makes us look bad.
Of Mein Kampf that you bring around with you, or is that just like performative?
I've read through it.
You've read through it? Okay, no.
Yeah,
wait, you've read through it or you've read it? There's a difference.
I've read through it. I focus on a certain, the chapter on the Jewish supremacy and the Jewish question.
So you haven't read anything about Lebensraum? Have you read anything about the Aryan race? What about that?
Oh, no, I'm familiar with that as well, those arguments. Okay, but that's not really what I'm...
Real quick. What chapter is the chapter where he talks about the Aryan race?
This fucking guy, bro. You do realize that there's different types of...
yeah, but there's only one where he mentions the Aryan race.
There's different
in volume 2, I'll give you that. It's in volume 2. There's a hint. Which chapter is it?
What I focus... See, and I love it too because you bring up your phone and you're like using AI to ask these stupid ass fucking questions.
It's not AI, you dumb motherfucker.
Yeah,
you can look up the book. The chapters are here.
Well, I don't need to look it up.
I was here
like
for like an hour.
Yeah, I don't have to look it up like you do. The point I'm trying to make here is I focus on his arguments because here's the other thing too. Because Hitler draws very much from Henry Ford and world Jewry and international Jew.
Oh, he draws from Henry Ford, bro. You haven't read the book.
Do you watch my fucking show, buddy? Do you watch my show? Because I've talked about this.
I've watched.
Then shut the fuck up. You clearly don't know what you're talking about. You're coming in coming here.
OnlyFans
You're
girls
coming
at
here.
2 a.m.
Oh, this guy's a copy
you
of Minecraft.
pretend
Let me ask him about this random thing
how
about Aryans.
it's-
I
look,
told you
I'm sorry,
specifically.
it is
I told you
super gay.
specifically. I told you specifically. I told you specifically.
To perform
I
pretend to be a
specifically
Nazi.
told you what I focused on when I read it, and then I told you where that comes from because I read The International Jew from Henry Ford, and that's where Hitler drew his stuff. So that's why I looked at that specifically, and I'm explaining it to you, and then your dumbass wants to sit here and ignore that. All that context matters.
The reality.
So what's your
is-
actual
the
discussion that you want to have? Because I
reality
could tell
is-
you're like one of these faggot liberals that's gonna like
the
go into like
reality
random shit.
the
Let me go ahead and
that might not be a bad thing, right? That might not be a bad thing.
attack him
is
on
that it's
this
fucking
and try.
embarrassing. It's fucking embarrassing.
book that offends you. Okay, sure.
It-
Now,
I don't-
what's your?
no, that's the thing. I don't give a fuck.
No, you are offended by it because you brought it up.
I brought it up because I think it's funny that
You're pissed off
pretending-
about it.
That
So
you're
let me hold it up.
pretending
And
to be a
let's talk
Nazi.
about the why women deserve less too.
You're gonna carry around Mein Kampf performatively.
Yep.
That's kind of embarrassing, right? To pretend to be a Nazi to be cool is kind of like embarrassing a little bit.
Yeah, embarrassing to you because you're a progressive faggot. So yeah, like you like that's why. It's like, and this is the thing. Like I'm not.
Bro,
gonna
you can call me a woman.
apologize.
Your woman cheated on you with a
She
roller
never did.
skater,
That's a lie.
bro. She cheated
That's
on
a-
you.
We
later,
were
that you weren't
broken
providing
up
the
for
male
months
role
before
she
that.
needed.
Okay, so I don't know what you're talking about. And then on top of that, you're coming in here say like again. You don't watch the show. You don't know what my content is. You come in. This guy's a copy of Minecraft. Let me ask him about that. And then I explain to you exactly why I have it. And this part of the book that I focused on reading, and then I talked about Henry Ford, and I talked about Oxy debate.
Look,
Because
I'll
the
go
problem
real
with you
quick.
progressives
It's the
is
same
you
as
guys
like it's the same
get
as gay
offended.
liberals who have a. I cut my bookshelf down because once I actually got to college, I was like, hey, you know what's gay? Having a bunch of books I haven't
So
read.
what's
so
your
people think I'm
actual- what's
smarter
your
than I
actual
am.
arg-
I need to admit that Kamala Harris easily would have been a better president than Donald Trump. Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, now everything makes sense.
Yeah, I
right?
love hearing that
It's
fat
like-
alcoholic idiot yelling over
it's
here.
Kind, it's kind of funny. It's like they, he comes in, he says the dumb shit that he said, and then he
Well, if you haven't
makes a
drank today,
comment
it's
like that, and
embarrassing how
everything
red you
comes
are,
full
you fat
circle.
idiot. You can't even touch your own dick.
Anyway, so
You did. You think it's a flex to talk about how you masturbated last
so
night,
question
buddy?
for you.
Really don't give a fuck. Kamala Harris. The argument
You
is
really
that
didn't do
Kamala
your
Harris-
research.
Wait.
You really didn't do
It's
your
okay,
research.
It's okay. You can calm down. The argument is that Kamala Harris would have been a better president than Donald Trump. You speak English, right? So you understand that's the argument. Not whether you were instrumental in her loss. I don't give a shit about that. I'm saying Kamala would have been better because Donald Trump is dog shit right now, right?
Sure. So your argument is you think that she would have been better?
Yeah, my argument is basically that Donald Trump is like the floor for what a president can possibly be, and anything would be better from that point.
Okay. Well, I don't want a female president, so no, thank you. That's number one.
Is that
We
your,
don't-
your
we
top
gotta-
thing? Is
we
that
gotta
the
we gotta keep
female?
women. Gotta keep
How
women in
much
the
respect
kitchen.
does Donald Trump have right now that Netanyahu is dragging him around by like a child
Yeah.
into
Like
wars?
here's the thing.
Is that
I'm not
like the type of respect that you want from like?
See,
our leaders?
here's the thing. I'm not a MAGA retard. If Trump does dumb shit, I will call it out. I don't like the war with Iran. I don't like the foreign policy. I think he's owned by the Jews. That pisses me off, and I don't like that. Hence why I'm very familiar with the JQ and Henry Ford and all those other shit which you've been trying to call out before. So I don't like that. Now, with that said, there's no fucking way I'm going to vote for Kamala Harris. She actually talked about in her book how me and Andrew Tate kept her from winning because she lost the young men a long time ago, as did the Democratic Party. Because let's be honest, the Democratic Party and the left in general is filled with soy boy faggots like you that are super politically correct, that will sit there and be like, you got a copy of Mein Kampf. Let me go ahead and shame you for like reading about somebody. Meanwhile, idiots like you will walk around with a copy of like fucking the Red Book from Mao, who killed just the same amount of people, if not more. Because a lot of you guys are.
Communism. I don't support communism. I don't know
Okay.
why you're doing this weird gay fucking turn to like, oh, communism.
Well, no, because
soy boy.
you're advocating. You're advocating for Kamala
reason
Harris,
I
who is
called
like a
you out for
Democrat
Mein
socialist.
Kampf
She's Democrat
is the
socialist,
same
so.
reason that you called
Because
out it.
you came
and
in,
you're the
you
same
came
thing.
in, you-
Mein Kampf. Look at me. You haven't done.
On what I care about. And
So
I
you
told you, I
haven't-
explained that to
okay,
you. And,
you've-
and I love that
you did the
brought
spark notes of Mein Kampf. Can we agree on that?
And
You did the spark
again,
notes
I
of
told
it.
you this. I read that because I read The International Jew from Henry Ford, and that's when I said, let me see what Hitler has to say about this.
That's
so
fine,
I read
but
that
you don't have the
specifically.
International
So
Jew
that
up there on
context-
stage with you.
So that
You
context
should
is
probably, if
extremely
you
important.
read the International
You know what?
Jew,
I'll bring
have
it.
that on stage with.
See, if you were smart, you would know it was not really a book. It was like a bunch of pamphlets that were produced right out of Dearborn, Michigan. So it was not really a book. But you know what? Just for you, I
Well,
will go
I'm
ahead and bring
glad
the
that
international
pamphlet-
game too, faggot. So what's your actual
You can
thing?
call me a-
Call you a Nazi, whatever. You know what? We're gonna go back.
I
to calling
didn't call
libs.
you a Nazi loser.
Back to what I was
that
gonna
you have
say.
to pretend to be a Nazi.
Kamala Harris,
That's fucking gay.
in a kitchen, then the White House. We will never have a female president. I will never fucking elect a female president. Women don't lead anything except to the end of a relationship or else to doom. So no, thank you. And we can go ahead and have our criticism.
I think it's against the law, right? I think it's against the law in Germany to talk about or promote the man.
criticisms of Donald Trump, sure, no problem. But there's no fucking way we're gonna put Kamala Harris into office. And I'm happy that she wrote about me in my book, in her book, that we kept her out. Me and Andrew Tate.
Keep
So
ripping
try
off
harder.
about Andrew Tate and yourself, and like a book that you wrote about, or a book she wrote. I don't give a fuck.
She wrote it.
The point is this: we're losing massively in our trade war against China, right? Not only is like Donald Trump being led around like a little fucking child by Israel, but also by China. He has to go bow to Xi Jinping in his own fucking place and get nothing for it, right? We got nothing from that China trip?
Well, he had a plan and it failed and it backfired. I talked about this in detail.
Just making sure we got nothing from that. So you agree with that? He failed on his plan.
Yes.
Not only that.
Okay, here's my thing, right? Zyrex says misogyny right there. Da sexist. I believe sexist and misogyny is two different things, right? Yes, that's sexist. Misogyny, how's that the hate of not wanting a woman to be president is not the same thing as hating on women, in my opinion, right? It isn't really the same thing as hating on women. I mean, I don't think it's the same thing, right? I don't think it's the same thing. It's sexist, but I wouldn't call it misogyny, right?
Yeah, he got outplayed in the soybean deal, right? When he sent $20 billion to Argentina instead of our farmers, right? He sent that to Argentina, and then China bought nothing from us. He got outplayed there too, right?
Okay, buddy. Do you not realize that I've been talking about? You need to watch my show before you come in here and talk.
Just
I've talked
answer
about
that.
all this
Did
shit.
he get outplayed on that soybean deal?
I have talked about Trump losing the trade war and being an idiot about this.
I don't give a fuck about these tepid.
How about this?
Like,
how about this? How about this? How about this? Because you're coming in,
sometimes.
you're making arguments that I literally make myself. You
Then
don't.
It should be easy. Just say
as
yes.
usual.
He got outplayed on that soybean deal, right?
No, because you're gonna literally go through and try to make it like
go through the list of his failures. Yes, because he's a failure of a president. Yes. I'm sorry that that's hard for you, but the guy that you backed is a fucking failure. He's a loser.
What? How's that cap? How's that cap? I don't think that's hate of a woman, right? I don't think that's a hate of a woman. Not wanting to be led by women. It's not necessarily what I would qualify as hating women. Okay. And here's the thing where this man is like this soy boy, right? Okay, even though Trump is not as successful, where's their basis that Kamala would have done better? I don't understand that.
He's a retard and he's fucking old and dying in office.
better than Kamala Harris.
Job.
Better than Kamala Harris.
It's not.
Better than Kamala Harris.
Do you think we'd be at war with Iran if Kamala was in there?
We probably would be
We
still,
would not.
yes.
Wait,
we
why,
would be,
why
yes.
did Obama not
we
go?
would be,
why
yes.
did Obama not go in 2014 when Netanyahu wanted to go to war with Iran?
Again, that's because
why
he
did
had...
Trump not go in his first term when Netanyahu wanted to go to war with Iran?
Again, we would probably still be at war because here's the thing you also got to understand. Kamala Harris is a big part of the reason why would the war... Yo, can you shut the fuck up when I'm talking, dude?
Bro,
like, you're fucking insufferable. Like, you're like one of these guys that just like filibusters as I'm trying to explain to you. Like, again, you want to talk about anti-war, whatever. Oh, yeah, we would have been a war. Well, you do understand that with Kamala Harris, she was in Ukraine. She was literally there weeks before Russia attacked, okay? So if we want to talk about wars and everything else like that, the Democrats are not free of not getting us involved in wars as well. And that obviously created a lot of issues for us as well in 2022. So she was there, literally didn't know what the fuck she was doing, and the Russians ended up invading. So it's not like Biden wasn't asleep at the wheel and got us involved in a war. And I honestly do think that the Israelis would have been able to bully her easily and get us dragged into another war in the Middle East, easily.
That's fine that you honestly believe that. I believe that you believe that, but I believe that you believe that based off of zero proof. You just believe that because you feel it.
I just told you that she fucked up with Russia.
You told me that she went into Ukraine and then Russia invaded later. That's not anything. There's no plan there. There's nothing. The only reason Ukraine is still resisting is because we agreed to arm them, which is what the Democrats did. Not the fucking loser Republicans who are too terrified to do anything with our allies, but have all the money in the world to give to Israel for whatever fucking wars they want to rage. Like somehow...
Wait, are you saying that it's okay that we armed Ukraine, right? We armed Ukraine, who's an ally of ours, I guess, right? You said that's a good thing, but us like I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Israel is an ally of ours, well, and that is wrong that we helped them out. Now, I'm critical of us of our foreign policy, so I don't care for it. But that literally destroys your own argument. All right, that is it for this. These men are insufferable. Guys, yes. I'm going to check out right now, right? That is it. That is it for this. That is it for the live stream. I'm going to be going to Discord right now. I'm checking out. Let's see if we could do I'm going to be streaming the fight, watch along, right? So if you guys want to watch the fight with me, join the Discord. Join the Discord and we'll watch the fight together. But yes, that is it for tonight. I'm going to go to the bathroom, come back down and check if we could check out the fight tonight. All right, you guys are amazing. I love you. Evil Eddie, Laughing Man, Zyrax. Zyrax, think about we'll definitely debate on this Wednesday, right? So my sister, let's have some fun. Jeremiah, everyone else, right? Sorry, I gotta go to the bathroom, but that is it for tonight. I love you guys.